All right, welcome back to the Tool World Podcast. I'm your host, David Drew, and I'm here with Master Jew.
Hello there, Mr. Jew.
Hello. This week, we're going to be talking a little bit about breaking apart the hands. I think last week we covered that a little bit. Sure. We started with Yongei and the checking block of X-Fist, and then you go right into the crosscut. And that one did not break apart the hands. What was the reasoning behind that? So you went one, and then you just went right into it.
Well, I think in general, most of the time, you don't want to have a lot of excessive movement, right? So for instance, I know this, is it the same topic, not the same topic, but let's say you have a twin outer forearm block, and you're going to throw a punch. Do I always have to bring it to the hip? A lot of students do it that way because they're accustomed to doing it from the hip, punching from the hip, but that's not really correct in a way, because all you really need to do is you go from the twin outer forearm block and you do a slight backward motion and execute the next technique, or in that particular technique is high punch. And I would also say that would be true in Yongei, where you're doing the checking block, and then so you don't go the checking block when you're going to strike with the left hand in this case, to switch it up and make it on the inside. That's like excessive movement. You don't need to do that. It's just, you're just in that position, you execute the technique. So I would say, why was the left hand on the outside versus on the inside? I mean, that kind of draws back to why do we strike? Why do we do blocks with the outer form, it's on the inside, but when we do a middle block with the inner form, it's on the outside, on the intermediate position? Why is that?
Right.
You hear a lot of these crazy ideas. All right, I should say crazy ideas. We hear a lot of different ideas about this, and that maybe it creates more friction, or maybe it creates more power, maybe it creates more speed or whatever. And I don't think of it that way. I kind of think of it as natural. But then the question is, if it's so natural, then why is it that everybody else, a lot of the students, do it incorrectly?
Right.
Right. And so that's a different topic, and we've gone through it before. And so I think that your original question is, when do we break the hand apart and not apart? Right?
Right.
Well, what's your thoughts? Or you want to lead into that?
Well,
Or should we take a break?
okay, we'll take a break and say that you should sign up for the Tool World Summit in October. There you go.
There you go. That's it.
Check below. Right. All right, so my other question is
Sponsored by
Tool World. Yeah. My other question is, when you look at like Junggut, or my other technique was also like in Yu Sin, from the pressing block with the X-Fist to the rising block with the X-Knife hand, right? That's another instance where you don't see the hand broken apart, but that one's in a continuous motion.
Right.
You have in Junggun where you go from the rising block with the X-Fist to the back fist strike. And that one's interesting because it's not in a continuous motion, but the foot's moving.
Right.
And so what's your thoughts? Breaking apart the hand for either one of them, or neither, or let's start with the Yu Sin one. The pressing block to the rising block, continuous motion.
Right. And so I don't think the hands break apart. It's kind of like, in some ways, so I just kind of think of continuous motion as kind of like a fast motion where it has to be done quickly, right? And so,
or maybe just quick. And then fast would be like quickly. It's like it's faster than continuous, but faster than normal, which is...
That is kind of a difficult concept to try to explain, though, I think. But I think it's done a little bit faster. And so what I mean by that is that when we do regular motion, when we look at the sine wave, we do this down, up, down kind of thing. But when you do it a little bit faster, you kind of cut out certain things because you want it to be faster, right? You can't do fast punches by going down, up, down, down, up, down. It's got to be down, up, down, and it's done fast, right? And so I kind of think of continuous as kind of like that as well. So if I do the pressing block, the first movement was down, up, down. Now we're talking about sine wave again. And if I was doing the regular motion, I would go down, up, down again. But I would probably break my hands apart because I've got more time. But when continuous is not as much time. So if I look at the sine wave, I go down, up, down, and then I go up and down. So my hands don't break apart because it's got to be faster, a little bit quicker.
So I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
Right. So that's where the hands wouldn't break apart. And then when you look at the checking block in Yongge,
Yeah.
right? It's the hands already there, but I'm not really doing. It doesn't say fast or continuous. It's just that my hands are already there. So why would I break it apart and then go back to the intermediate position? I just go lock, slide backward motion, and then out. This idea of the right hand on the inside or outside has really nothing to do with power in a way. It's just a natural position.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, like I said, we could go back and talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the way I look at it is if my right leg is back, then my right hand is back.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why you execute techniques.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain techniques like a middle block with the inner forearm. It's on the outside. Well, we can apply that same logic, but it's the way we execute the technique. At what point do the arms start to move and cross? The only reason why it's on the inside or outside is because it is the intermediate position, but it's the windup that creates that. And which leg is back and which leg's forward is kind of what I think is that makes a difference for that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It has nothing. I don't think it has anything to do with power. It's just the natural way of the way our body moves.
I think that makes sense. So what about like Junggun? So you're going from a rising block with the X fist into the back fist strike. They're just two movements, but yet they could keep the hands together because of the intermediate position.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, I guess when I do the pattern myself and the way I teach it is that you do the rising block and you want to do this back fist strike. You do want to relax. How much relaxation? So that's kind of what I would say. Because I do this rising block, if I relax it where I drop my arms to my shoulder and I open up my arm, and then I would do the back fist strike. Is that right or wrong?
Could be right. I mean,
It could be.
because you're just relaxing in between.
Right. So, but I don't teach it that way, and I don't do it that way. I think I go rising block, I relax, and then
So the hands are still kind of crossed.
they're still
relaxed.
relaxed. Right. So how much of a relaxation or where's your intermediate hand position supposed to be, or where should your hands be when you wind up? It's kind of like that same idea. If I do a twin outer forearm block, do I bring it back to my hip and then execute the fourth and the high forefist? Or do I?
You mean like in Good where you twin out?
Did I not?
Twin out of forearm block?
Yeah, twin outer forearm block.
Oh, okay.
And then do I bring it back to my hip and then execute the punch, or do I just go twin outer forearm block, bring it back into my shoulder, maybe my armpit, and then execute the punch? I teach it that way. I don't think that the punches should always come from the belt.
Right.
It goes from the belt sometimes, but in general, it's not that way. And I think that's the same rule applies for that. It's already there. Rising block. I'm just going to wind it up and then execute the back fist stride.
But it does have to have some kind of backwards motion on that.
Right.
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
But you do relax it.
Right.
But do you open it apart? Unlike Yongge where you don't open it apart. But that's a different technique because it says it's a continuous motion. No. It doesn't say.
No.
It's just a regular motion.
All right.
I hope that answered someone's question.
Well, yeah,
they're probably going, what
scenarios.
They gotta go, what in the world are they talking about?
Yeah, I know. We've gotten that comment sometimes.
I don't read the comments too much, but I think I did see some comments recently.
Yeah, there was one on our YouTube video. He was asking.
Was it good or bad?
No. He was asking something about like application of like the checking block or something. I didn't really read it yet.
Well, we should read them. So
Yeah. Well, should we just answer right now? I could probably pull it up on YouTube.
you're gonna pull it up?
I think I have. I mean, we could add like a question and answer type of section at the end, right?
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I mean, it's just, that was the whole idea, is to create conversation and have a little discussion about something.
Okay, so this goes back to our checking block video a couple weeks back. It says, can't the checking block application be the same as the application of butterfly hands and long fist? I'm not really sure what that means. For example, a checking block with the left hand in front applied to a straight punch or a push could just be a deflection of that straight attack with the left hand, followed by a pull and control the attacking arm with the right hand, leaving the left hand now ready to strike. So I think in that last video, in the checking block, we had talked a little bit about how checking block.
Then you use the right hand to
Right.
grab them, and then the left hand's ready for the punch. Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean,
Yeah.
no disagreement there.
Yeah. I think we talked a little bit about how the checking block was also used for like a turning kick
Right.
or reverse turning kick, but the application also implies about four-fist punch and grabbing it.
Right. So there's different applications, kind of different applications for different attacking tools.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to do grabbing a leg when someone's doing a reverse turning kick.
Yeah.
Because it's coming straight at you, and you're just trying to
Mm-hmm.
stop it from coming in.
Yeah. But theoretically, the combo could be block the left hand, grab with the right, strike with the left.
Right. In that case, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think it's quite viable.
Yeah.
Right.
Let us know your guys' thoughts and leave us a comment, and maybe we'll read it out next time on the next set of podcasts here.
All right.
And you might get like a little shout out or something. Or
Should we call it name out? No, we won't do that.
no. But
I don't know if I wonder if he does ITF Taekwondo, because he said butterfly hand.
but the long fist though. Maybe you could send us a picture of it and what the hands would look like. I'd be interested.
Right.
Anyways, as always, don't forget to be safe.
Keep training.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Taekwondo.